Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Majority Podcast Productions, home to original and outstanding podcasts out to reach the truth, hearts, and ears of our audiences all over the world. We thank everyone so much for returning to our platform, as well as sharing our platform with friends, families, even coworkers. We are particularly excited about this episode here, so you guys come on and grab your teacups, grab your pillows, grab whatever it is that you want to grab to make you all comfortable, okay? We're glad to have each and every single one of you guys back, so nevertheless, if you're with friends or if you're by yourself listening, get comfortable because you know we're about to have a party. So enjoy the rest of this episode, brought to you by Majority Podcast Productions. Everybody, welcome back to another episode of Honey and Glowing Up Beautiful, a part of Majority Podcast Productions. This is Miss Honey, and I will be your host for this episode. So we wanted to get on here and do an episode about lessons in growing your character and what it means to grow your character, change your own energy, and change the energy of things and people around you. Now, in order to grow your own character, there are some things about yourself that you may have to acknowledge, from bad and toxic characteristics that are going to have to be challenged and changed, to good and healthy characteristics that you may want to increase and not shy away from. Whatever it is that you want to change about yourself, what you want to take away, what you want to grow, it's always going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it. Now, I cannot speak for anyone else's journey. I can only speak for my own. To this day, I am still growing my own character, but I can tell for anyone and everyone, no matter your age, growing your character, changing your character is not just a one and done thing. You cannot change your character in 5 days. You probably can't even change your character completely in 50 days, but 50 days is a much better start than 5 days, that's for sure. But changing your character is not a quick process. It's not easy. For some people, it could be a short term, like 6 months. For other people, it could take up to 2 years. It just depends on the person. It depends on the journey. Changing your character is hard, but it's not impossible. Growing your character is also a bit difficult, but it's not impossible. But taking the time to actually understand your character, who you are, and who you want to grow yourself to be, it can be a very interesting process, especially when you look back to see how you used to be, how you were, and how you are now. Even though I just explained that there is no stop for growing your character, you are always going to grow your character, it is very satisfying to see where you started off and the bits and pieces of how much you've grown and how much you've changed to where you are now, and knowing that you are going to continue growing, you're going to continue changing in 20 minutes, in 24 hours, in 20 weeks. We're just changing, change. But we're changing our characters for the good. In this episode, I'm going to point out some of the things that I wanted to change, that I wanted to overcome. And maybe some of these points will inspire other people to find where to start in growing their own character journeys. Or you're just nosy. One thing that I wanted to work on not only growing my integrity, but also standing in my integrity. For anyone who doesn't know by now, when it comes to having integrity is the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles and moral uprightness, having a lack of corruption, and being in a state of wholeness and undividedness. In other words, basically standing in what is right and not allowing anyone to shame you, scare you, threaten you, embarrass you, or buy you out of what is right. Another point that I wanted to work on as well is accountability and understanding what it means to take accountability for my own actions. Taking accountability for your own actions shows a great amount of maturity in oneself, especially when accountability in a difficult situation can be pretty hard. Another point in growing and changing your character is accepting change. Not only accepting change within you, but accepting change around you. We are choosing to change our character. That is something that we are controlling. However, However, even though we are choosing to change our character, there may be things that happen within us or around us that change without our control. So instead of getting angry, getting frustrated, going crazy about things that we can't control, learning to accept change that is not in our power can be very important in growing your character. You learn to let things go and let things be. Quick tangent, I said the word character, I don't know how many times in this episode. We all recognize it. Now let's move on. Hello everybody, how are you doing? To listen to the rest of this particular episode, please go to the Majority Podcast Productions platform listed in the description box below. You can also listen to Majority Podcast Productions on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and many more. Feel free to also check out our other podcasts listed under the Majority Podcast Productions platform. Now that was a good episode, wasn't it? Feel free to join the discussion on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you for listening to this episode, a part of Majority Podcast Productions. Please feel free to like and subscribe. Check out more episodes as well as our other platforms, a part of Majority Podcast Productions. We look forward to seeing you guys again. Stay sweet.